Hey, it's Odin here, and I want to talk today about women over 50, Australia's hidden housing crisis. So here we go. So tourism is booming, and in coastal towns like Busselton and Dunsborough, Western Australia, short-term rentals are pushing locals out of their own communities. ABC did a story on Helen Finley, a healthcare worker who was packing up her life for the second time in 2 years. She moved there 25 years ago and is now priced out of her hometown. She's sleeping in her car with her dog, Banjo. Why? Because short-term rentals now dominate the housing stock. Women over 50 are the fastest growing group of homeless Australians. And why this is happening is also due to divorce or separation later in life, casual or part-time work histories equals smaller super balances, rising rents and property prices outpacing pensions. A sudden rent hike or lease termination pushes many over the edge. This isn't just numbers, it's real women living in cars or couch surfing. So Busselton has 1,691 short-term rentals, more than any other Western Australian council. Median house price in Busselton is $815,000, higher than Perth. 27% of Western Australia's short-stay rentals concentrated in the southwest. That's a whopping 36,170 short-stay accommodation. Sunshine Coast in mighty Queensland has 5,200 listings. Mornington in Victoria has 4,347 listings. So Australia-wide, there is 968,000 short-stay listings. That's 1.2% of all housing stock in Australia. Byron Bay has 17.7% of all homes are short-stay. That's the highest density nationally. So short-stay saturation squeezes out long-term rentals. Even if half return to the rental pool, local supply in places like Byron Bay could jump by 50% overnight. If you're asking who owns all these properties, most short-stay homes aren't owned by giant corporations. They're held by everyday mum and dad investors, teachers, tradies, nurses, retirees, using property as a substitute super fund. They don't want to be rich landlords, they just want retirement security. When short-term stays outnumber long-term rentals, it's not just a housing crisis anymore, it's a community in collapse. Australia is facing a complex housing challenge, but it's also home to some creative, community-driven solutions that are quietly reshaping the landscape. When communities break, we have an example like in Queenstown, New Zealand. Hospitality staff sleeping in cars and caravans. Tourism thrives, but the community foundation collapses. WA Southwest, locals priced out while workers commute hours just to pour coffee or nurse patients. Falls Creek and Lorne in Victoria, businesses buying or renting pubs and lodges to house staff. Creative but not livable for families. Anglicare found only 0.8% of rentals are affordable for full-time hospitality workers. But without balance, communities lose their nurses, teachers, first responders, and essential workers. The key to Australia's housing dilemma is within the grasp of the big end of town. Many businesses, especially in hospitality, agriculture and mining, are investing in staff accommodation to attract and retain workers in tight housing markets. Why businesses have the edge? Bigger lending power. Businesses can borrow at better rates than everyday Aussies because they deal in commercial finance. They have tax perks. The government gives signals through tax incentives. Example, accelerated depreciation. 4% versus 2.5% means you write off building costs faster. They have lower withholding tax, 15% versus 30%. Makes BTR projects more attractive to big investors. That's built to rent for everyone else. And remember, the tax code is a roadmap. The government basically says invest here and we'll give you a discount at tax time. That's why we see capital pouring into build to rent, worker accommodation, renewable energy and infrastructure. The incentives are baked in. What it means for housing, everyday mum and dad investors are playing on retail rules. Corporates play on wholesale rules. Bigger tax breaks, more leverage, lower cost of capital. Businesses have commercial lending and tax incentives to buy housing for staff. Families don't. The tax code isn't a trap, it's a blueprint. It tells you where to invest by rewarding behaviour with deductions. So the question becomes, how do we design a system where both workers and families can thrive, not just survive? Idunn's housing model is buy homes outright, cap rents at 30% of household income, upgrade with solar and sustainability through vegetable gardens and fruit trees, provide stability so families don't live in fear of the next rent hike. Homes with heart, dignity with purpose. If this mission aligns with you, should you accept? Come, let's build this together. And if you're wondering why am I doing this, it's because I am no ordinary man. This is my purpose in loving memory of my beautiful boy Emma. Thank you for the likes, thank you for your time, and you know how we close these.